Well, we know Buffalo is having a tough time balancing its budget, so this may surprise you. Investigative Post is now reporting that over the past 6 years, the city has failed to collect more than $6 million in housing court fines. That's money that could help fill those budget gaps. Here are the numbers dating back to January of 2020. Judges have issued more than $7 million in fines, but the city has collected less than $500,000 of that, or about 8.5% of the total housing court fines. There's also this. The new city housing court judge, Philip Dabney Jr., who has been on the bench since December, is issuing far fewer fines overall than his predecessor, who was also criticized for being too lenient. Investigative Post found longtime housing court judge Patrick Carney issued about 1,500 fines per year post-pandemic. But over the past 9 months, the new judge has issued less than a quarter of that average. Ijaz Jasil reported this story for Investigative Post, and she joins us live here tonight to tell us more. So Ijaz, I went over some of the numbers there. What else did you find? And it took you a while to get this data to begin with.
It did. It took me quite a while. For about the past year and a half, I had been requesting this data from the state, and they told me that they weren't tracking it, but I was finally able to get it this year. And as you saw, that almost $7 million over the past 6 years has been uncollected. But looking at city bid records, I found that even more, there was another $6.5 million that hasn't been collected since about 2017. So we're looking at over $13 million in outstanding housing court fines. There's a lot of blame, a lot of finger pointing as to why and how this money can't be collected, but it's certainly astonishing when you're considering how much debt the city is currently in. Yeah, we were showing the chart there, and it adds up to over $13 million that the city presumably could have collected. Not to say they would get 100% success, but you want to do a lot better than 8.5%. There is some really strong pushback and reaction to this from community members. Absolutely. I spoke with Fred Brace, who used to be a housing court liaison actually for the University District, and he alluded that someone should go to jail. I mean, in a certain situation like this, if this were a corporation or a company of some sort, failing to collect millions of dollars would at the very least get you fired. Some Common Council members definitely expressed disappointment and extreme frustration that it's not just bad for our budget, but it's disrespectful to the residents to say we're not holding the landlords accountable who are having you live in these conditions. Inspectors go through troubles to write these cases up from housing court. The judges issue the fines, but then when the fines aren't collected, what message is that sending about accountability? That's the biggest issue. Yeah, finally moving forward, is there any reason to expect the city will get better at collecting these fines? It's unclear at this point. The city has had a collections agency that it's worked with since 2001. That collection agency actually went out of business in August. There was a new collection agency that the Common Council voted to approve in March, but it's unclear as to whether they've started utilizing it yet. It's unsure as to what the Department of Treasury is doing. I've reached out to Michael Seaman several times. Unfortunately, he never responded. So we don't know what the collections is going to look like from here, but hopefully with more exposure, there will be more accountability. There is a lot to this story. I know Ijaz worked on it for a long time. It's really easy to follow along, and it will be frustrating to a lot of folks who are worried about Buffalo's finances and seeing this money left on the table. Go to investigativepost.org to read the full article. Ijaz, thanks so much. Thanks. Great to see you.